Om Shanti. This is the Avyakt Murli of 4th of December, 1985. And the title is The Language of Thoughts, the Most Elevated Language. Today, there is a double gathering of those with double form in front of Bap Dada. Both are gatherings of loving children. One is the gathering of the children in the corporeal form. The other gathering is of the loving children in their subtle form. While celebrating a meeting with the Father, the ocean of love, all the children everywhere in their subtle form are revealing their love in front of Bap Dada. Bap Dada is listening to all the children's thoughts of love, their various thoughts of zeal and enthusiasm in their heart, and together with the various feelings in their heart, Bap Dada is also listening to the sweet things of their right, because they have a right to have a loving relationship. Each child is putting clearly in front of the Father the condition of his heart, the condition of the situations of the different activities, and the service news with the language of the eyes and with the language of elevated, loving thoughts. Bap Dada is listening to all the children's heart-to-heart conversations in all three forms. One conversation is through the language of the eyes. The second conversation is in the language of feelings. And the third is in the language of thoughts. The language of words is a common language, whereas these three types of languages are the languages of a spiritual yogi life, which only the spiritual children and the spiritual father know and experience. The more you become introverted and remain stable in sweet silence, the more experiences you will be able to give to all souls through these three languages. These alaukic languages are so powerful. The majority have become tired of listening to and speaking the language of words. In speaking the language of words, it takes time to clarify a situation, whereas the language of the eyes is a language of just giving signals. The language of the feelings in the mind is revealed by the expression on your face. The expression on your face reveals the feelings in your mind. For instance, when someone goes in front of another person, that person's eyes and features speaks as to whether that person has come with love, with enmity, or with selfish motives. So, you can know and speak the language of feelings through the expressions on the face. Similarly, the language of thoughts is the most elevated language of all, because the power of thought is the most elevated power. It is the original power, and the fastest language of all is the language of thoughts. No matter how far away someone is, and even if you don't have any facilities of communication, with the language of thoughts, you can give anyone a message. At the end, it will be this language of thoughts that will be useful. When the facilities of science fail, these facilities of silence will be useful. However, in order to make a connection, the line must always be kept clear. The more practice you have of always remaining busy with the one Father, with the knowledge that He has given you, and in service with that knowledge, the clearer your line will be through those elevated thoughts. The disturbance is of waste thoughts. The more you finish all waste and just have powerful thoughts, the more clearly people will experience the elevated language of thoughts, just as people experience the language of words. In a second, the language of thoughts can give anyone a much greater experience than through the language of words. You can give the experience of the essence of 3-minute talk in a second with the language of thoughts. You can give them the experience of liberation and life in a second that has been remembered. The language of introverted souls is this spiritual language. Now, according to the time, you will experience easy success with all of these 3 languages. It will take less effort and less time, but success will be easy. Therefore, now practice the spiritual language. So today, Bap Dada is listening to the children through these 3 languages and also giving a response to all the children. Seeing everyone's form of deep love, Bap Dada is merging all of that love in the ocean of love. He is giving everyone the elevated blessing of making everyone's remembrance a memorial. Knowing the different feelings in each one's mind, Bap Dada is giving all the children the response of all of those feelings with the pure wishes. May you always be free from obstacles. May you be powerful. May you be full of all powers. With the pure wishes of the Father, whatever are the pure wishes of the children, whatever are the feelings of cooperation and good wishes according to the situation, all of those pure wishes will continue to be fulfilled with Bap Dada's elevated wishes. While moving along, sometimes the karmic accounts of the past come in front of some children in the form of a test paper, whether it is in the form of illness of the body, wasteful storms of the mind, or in the form of relationships and connections. Sometimes, instead of receiving cooperation from those who are closely cooperative, there is sometimes a slight conflict. However, all of those old accounts and old debts are being settled. Therefore, instead of getting involved with upheaval, if you make your intellect powerful, then with the power of the intellect, instead of experiencing those old depths as depths, you will always experience them to be responsible for enabling you to always pass. What happens is that because of not having the power of the intellect, you experience the debt as a burden. And because of having a burden, you are unable to take the right decision with the intellect that you should. Then, because of not taking the right decision, the burden brings you down even lower. You cannot then go to the height of success, and this is why, instead of the debt being settled, in some cases it continues to increase even more. Therefore, the way to settle all the old debts is to keep your intellect constantly clear. Do not keep any burden in your intellect. The lighter you keep your intellect, the more the power of the intellect will easily enable you to achieve success. Therefore, do not be afraid. Finish the waste thoughts that create a burden, such as, why did it happen? What happened? Perhaps it is like this, and keep the line of your intellect clear. Keep it light. Then, with your courage and the Father's help, you will continue to experience success. Do you understand? Instead of being double light, you take on a double burden. Will the double burden of the accounts of the past and waste thoughts take you up or bring you down? This is why Bap Dada is especially drawing the attention of all of you children. Always continue to settle the burden of the intellect. Any type of burden changes the yoga of the intellect into the suffering of karmic accounts. Therefore, always keep your intellect light. So the power of yoga and the power of the intellect will finish any type of suffering. Everyone's different form of enthusiasm for service has reached Bap Dada. To the extent that someone is doing service altruistically with an honest heart. So the Lord is pleased with such an honest heart. And the sign of the Lord being pleased is the contentment in your heart and success in service. Whatever you have done so far has been good, and what you are still doing is all good. As you progress further, it will be even better. This is why Bap Dada is giving all the children everywhere love and remembrance in the form of a blessing. Always continue to progress and continue to grow with the right method. Together with this blessing, Bap Dada is giving multi-million-fold love and remembrance. Bap Dada is giving a response as well as a congratulations to all the children who have written physical letters or sent letters through the mind. May you always continue to live with this elevated life while making elevated effort with such elevated feelings of love, Bap Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Bap Dada meeting groups. You have heard a lot. Just try and calculate and see approximately how much you have heard. Are both your listening and doing simultaneous? Or is there a difference between your listening and doing? Why do you listen? In order to do that? What will happen when both your listening and doing become equal? You will become complete, will you not? So, who will become the first sample of the perfect stage? Why does each one of you not say, I will become that? Those who take the initiative in this are Arjuna. Just as the Father made himself an instrument, so too those who become instruments become Arjuna. That is, they claim the first number. Acha, we shall see who becomes that. Bap Dada wants to see the children become that. Years are going by. Just as the years are passing by, so the old ways should also pass by. Let there always be new enthusiasm and new thoughts, for this is a sign of perfection. All of you finished everything old at Deepmala, did you not? You celebrated Diwali, did you not? So, at Diwali, everything old finished. Now, Let everything be new. Acha, specialties, the basis of coming close to the Father. It is the specialties you children have that have brought you close to the Father. The specialties you have in you are now to be revealed as a special sample in front of everyone. Whatever specialties you have, continue to grow through service. Use for service all the specialties that the Father has filled you with. By using those specialties practically, you will also receive marks in the subject of service. Relate your experiences. Do not just keep them with yourself. Use your experiences in service, and the zeal and enthusiasm of others will increase. Bap Dada always sees the specialties of special souls and uses them for his task. Acha, Avyakt Bap Dada's sweet message for the political leaders of the world. Each and every political leader in the world is engaged in his task with the good wishes and pure feelings of making his country and the people of his country progress. However, even though their feelings are very elevated, there isn't as much practical proof as there should be. Why is this? It is because the feelings of the mind, feelings of service, and the feelings of love in the people of today, and also in many of the leaders, have changed into selfish motives and jealousy. In order to finish that foundation, they have made many efforts with the power of matter, the power of science, the power of worldly knowledge, and the power of the authority of government. However, real power is spiritual power through which the feelings of the mind can easily be changed. They have less attention on that, and this is why the seed of changed feelings cannot finish. It is suppressed for a short while, but according to the time, it shows itself in an even more intense form. This is why the message of the spiritual father for the spiritual children, souls, is always consider yourself to be a spirit, soul. Forge a relationship with the spiritual father. Take spiritual power from him and become a leader of your own mind. Then you will be able to become a political leader and be able to transform the feelings in the minds of others. The thoughts in your mind and the practical actions of the people will become the same. With the cooperation of both, you will be able to experience the practical proof of success. Remember that only those who have a right to rule the self can be a constantly worthy soul to rule a kingdom, and that self-sovereignty is the birthright given by your spiritual father. With the power of this birthright, you will also experience the power of being constantly righteous and will remain successful. Blessing, may you be ignorant of the knowledge of desires, and with the awareness of the imperishable attainments, stay in the happiness of your elevated fortune. What would be the fortune of one whose father is the bestower of fortune himself? Always have the happiness that fortune is your birthright. Wow, my elevated fortune, and my Father, the bestower of fortune himself, constantly sing this song and continue to dance in happiness. You have received such imperishable treasures that they will remain with you for many births, and no one can snatch them away from you or loot them. It is such a great fortune in which there are no desires. Once you received happiness of the mind, you received all attainments. There is nothing lacking, and this is why you are ignorant of even the knowledge of desires. Slogan: the time for performing sinful actions has passed. Now, even wasteful thoughts and words deceive you a great deal. Om Shanti.